I promised you guys I would do the Huda Beauty review, and I'm gonna do a full face of makeup, show you guys how it works, what I actually do, and yeah, let's get into it. Now in my kit, I did get the Easy Blur. This one is their primer for my dry and, well, 50-year-old skin. Didn't care for it as much. I think this will be fantastic in the summer months for me when I actually get a little more hydration in my skin. But right now, this did not do me any favors. So if you have dry skin, dry aging skin with deep fine lines and wrinkles, I would hold off on that and instead go with a good old-fashioned SPF, especially a hydrating one. You guys know that I'm a huge advocate for preventing skin cancer, and I really love using, this one is from Takobo. The Korean skincare SPFs are absolutely fantastic. Much better than Canada, much better than the United States. Their ingredients are just far more superior than what we have to offer. And honestly, it works like silk under the base of my makeup, keeps me hydrated and protected. So I know you guys are gonna ask, which ones are you using? They're always on my shelf. So this one's the new one that I tried. It's called Takobo. It feels like silk underneath my makeup. But honestly, the Isntree Hyaluronic Acid Water Sun Gel is my ride or die. I've been using this for literally 5 years. So either version, they're both fantastic. They don't cause irritation. There's no pilling. There's no white cast. As you guys can see, yes, I really am this pale. That's not the white cast, that's me. So yeah, that's why I love it so damn much, and I highly recommend it because it, like I said, it works like a hot damn. All right, I have been using the Easy Blur. I really love her foundation. My other favorite foundation is of course from Lady Gaga. That one is also a huge favorite just because it's very hydrating, good coverage. This kind of gives me the filtered feel, and I really like the way that it goes on. It feels just a hint too kind of off colored, but you know what, I can make it work. So I'll show you how I like to apply it. Now, because I have aging skin and my skin is thin and dehydrated, so for me, I love using a wet sponge. I just find I get a better application. I buy one of these little guys off of Amazon. They're just like a makeup ring, and then I load my actual makeup blender, and I start with the big spots of my face because that's where I want to really create a base so it doesn't get too deep into fine lines and wrinkles. Over here, it's pretty smooth still. So far, so good. And then I just like to move it around and just get my base on. And I like to kind of get the base on as quickly as possible so it has time to absorb into the skin. Because after this, I'm gonna do my brows. I already have my eyebrows done, but I just wanna kind of get the foundation in so it sets, and then I'm ready to rock and roll. Because like everybody else, as much as I love doing my makeup, I have things to do today. Don't forget the neck. Always bring it down. You do not ever want to have that neckline. And when you're matching your foundation, you want it to match your neck, actually. All right, I think I got most of it. Looks pretty good to me. See, it's flawless. I love the way it feels. I love the way it sits. It doesn't crease on me. It doesn't cake. Now, before I set it with everything else, there will be a little bit of creasing, which I'll show you one of the tricks that I've learned that works really, really well when it comes to powder. But for right now, I just need this sucker to set. So let's work on my eyebrows. Stand by, going down. All right, back up. All right, so I'm gonna use a little bit of my pomade, and I use a very fine brush. This one is an old brush that I don't even think it has a name anymore, but it's super, super fine, if you guys can see that. And that is what I will be using to fill in my brows. I like the nice sharp brows. Yes, I absolutely have my brows done, but after a while they tend to fade. So it's probably time to do another little touch up. But at the same time, I love a bold brow. Like, my eyes to me are my favorite feature, so I really want them to pop. So what I do is I just kind of go back in and trace in the lines that they already gave me, and I just kind of blend it all back in and make it look tight like a tiger. And remember, your eyebrows are sisters, not twins. They'll never be perfect, but you want them to be symmetrical with the rest of your face. Oh, I like that. See, you can tell the difference. I just like it to pop a bit more. You know, I grew up in the 80s. We over-tweezed our brows like nobody's business. If you were in the 90s, you understand that as well. They did that as well. We did the super thin brows. And there comes a point where your brows just don't grow back like they used to. And so what I like to do is I have mine permanently done. Shaping brows is not my forte. That is the one skill I do not possess. So this is nice, because that way I just color in between the lines, and that I can do. I can color in between the lines. but I need somebody to base it out for me. And don't worry if it looks like poo, we always blend. The secret to amazing makeup is always blend. And I'll show you all my little tricks that I like to do. I love doing my makeup. Although I did take the training, I'm better on myself. I'm not great with other people. You have to have that art form that other people have. I don't have that. So that's all right. I just do great brows on myself or great makeup on myself, and I'll show you kind of what I do, and then you guys can go home and practice at your leisure. Okay, I'm going to take my little spindle and I'm going to go in and just brush. And the reason being is because I like to soften up what I've done. And if I find that I have any lines that are out of touch, they're not symmetrical, I just go in with, this is a little Morphe brush. What I do is I just go in and make sure that I clean up any lines. So if I have anything that kind of went a little crazy, and then I have a little piece of paper towel down below that I just wipe it on. So if I feel like there's something just a little bit off, I can just literally go back in and fix it. Okay, brows are done. Let's go into contour. I love a good contour. I saw the Charlotte Tilbury new contouring wands, and I do really love a lot of her makeup, because although it looks really crazy dark, as you guys can see, it's precision and it blends to perfection. So I'm just going to show you guys how I do mine. And what I'm trying to do is soften up and chisel up in the cheek area, and then pull this down just a little bit to just kind of give it a little more kind of sucked in. And then right here where the jowls, thank God, aren't too terrible just yet. Thanks to my anti-age and not micro needling. Oh, that stuff is helping me so much. But I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna go down so you guys can see a little bit. Because there's a little spot there. And then I just do a little bit of my chin, because my chin has like a point, and I don't mind it. It's just, I don't want it to be as dominant. So I'm gonna do that. So this is why I like hers, because it's, well, first of all, matches wise really well with my skin tone. And where is my brush? Yes. So this is a new brush I got. It's the Rem Beauty. Love this brush. And this is what I use. But look how nice that is. Because when you are pale like me, you need something that has a little depth, but that isn't orange. I don't do well with orange undertones. It does not. You always almost want it to be gray. And the whole point is just to add a little depth and dimension to the face so it doesn't look like just this very pale skin person. I have no problems being pale. I don't want skin cancer. I've had it once, I don't need it again. Once was plenty. I was lucky. I got away with very minor scars. So for me, personally speaking, I will bronze until the cows come home. It's funny how your priorities change. Now that I've blended it with my brush, which I love, I always go back with my beauty blender and I just kind of tap it and blend the edges in as much as possible. It's these little details that really help give you that nice, flawless look, at least in my humble opinion. All right, time for blush. I love to use the wand as well, the Charlotte Tilbury one, but I save that for the end because I have a little combo that I do with by Mario. And it's just kind of my thing. So right now I'm using Creme by Fenty Beauty. This color is Petal Poppin'. Poppin' Petal. Heavenly Skin brush. But as you guys can see, it's kind of my favorite. So I'm gonna use that, kind of load the brush. Tappa, 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 because I want to get it. Now, this gets covered up through my foundation, so that is why I'm just kind of doing it like this. I do tend to be a little generous with the blush at the beginning because the most of it gets covered up by the powder. And so I like to do it this way. I do put a little blush because again, when you're pale like me, a little bit of the contour using a little bit of blush just kind of helps look the skin look healthy and rosy. And again, go back with your powder and your beauty blender, I should say, sorry, not your puff. And then you just go ahead and blend it to perfection. Feeling a little bit under the eyes today. I feel like I need a little bit more love. So I'm gonna go back in, just put a very small amount. Okay, absolutely love Lady Gaga's brushes. These ones are so good for the eye area. Just gonna pull this up here so you guys, there's a mirror off camera. That's why I keep looking to the right. There we go, now I can see better. I just wanna make sure that I am primed and that my foundation goes right underneath my brows. So that way I am ready to rock and roll. This is the nice thing about the Huda Beauty. I don't need an extra concealer. I'm always trying out different products and from different brands, but I really like this because I don't need an additional concealer. I can save money and I can just put just a bit more in. And again, Go back in, tap it in. I do need to let that set for a few seconds. So while that sets, that's the trick. When you have aging skin, you have to let everything set a few minutes, because that's when the magic happens. Okay, I'm gonna start in with my tight line. This is my absolute favorite. I love my eyes. And when it comes to using eye pencils, I love the one from Victoria Beckham. Yes, it's not the cheap options, but when you have aging skin and aging eyelids, they are thin and crepé, and they tend to be hyper delicate. So anything that isn't absolutely perfection and smooth feels like sandpaper on my eyes. And I love a tight line. I'll always do a tight line. So for me, it's worth the investment, and I absolutely love her pencils. I bought, I think, every single color. Well, almost. I'm not into burgundy, not because it's not a beautiful color, but just for me, it's just not my aesthetics. It makes me look like I got pink eye. Nobody wants that. All right, so I just want to show you guys. So I go in the tight line. I try to get in between the lashes as much as possible. I wear contact lenses, so I have to be a little careful here. And I also do the bottom. I have nice big eyes. I love a little drama in my makeup. I don't like drama in my life, but I definitely love it in my makeup. And that's just who I am. I think the most important thing when it comes to makeup is you do what's comfortable for you. I know there's a lot of opinions out there, but for day to day, if you love your makeup and you love blue or you love pink or whatever color you like, and people are like, you shouldn't wear that. Screw it. It's your face. You do what you do. You do you, boo, as they always say. Morph R42. It's got a nice little flat brush edge. Love that. Okay, so this is why I love this brush, because I can actually go in and blend into perfection. That's why I love her pencils. I don't do a lot of makeup anymore, or eye makeup. This is just perfect. It blends perfectly, and it lasts all day long, which is another reason I spend the extra money. So it's smooth. It glides to perfection. I love the way it works with my skin, not against my skin. And then just have a paper towel down below where I'm cleaning off my brush here, so you guys can see that. So again, I'm just softening up the edges. And then once you let it set, she's pretty much good all day. I don't get a lot of bleeding or creasing per se. It's actually pretty solid. And again, I use these pencils down to the nubbin because I love them so much. Go back in with my Morph. I'm just going to clean off the bristles there. Go back in and clean it up. The key to beautiful makeup is work with what you got and take your time. When you rush through things, that's where you kind of go, ugh, it doesn't look the way I was hoping for. Don't worry about it. It's makeup. You can wipe it off. Go back, readjust. You will not be perfect the first time you do these things, especially if you're new to it. Personally speaking, I love using a really good clean brush, giving that time to set. Oh, I like that. See, it kind of gives you that smoky eye, that gorgeous smokiness. I want to make sure that I am clean underneath, so I'm going to go back in. That's why I love this little guy from Morphe. I know somebody's like, it's not Morph, it's Morphe. I'm lazy. Sometimes I'm just freaking lazy. All right. And again, because my sponge is really nice and wet, and then of course you squish it out in the paper towel, it sucks up any of the extras. And because the Easy Blur foundation is really easy to work with, I find it just, like I said, it feels like second skin. It doesn't look like I'm wearing makeup. Doesn't feel like I'm wearing makeup. Loving this. Let's add a little sparkle, because what's life without a little sparkle? This one is from, I think it's called Karma Cosmetics. Silver Slay is the one I'm going to be using. Isn't she pretty? I love this one. And I like to use a nice flat brush. This one's just an old-fashioned Sephora kind of brush. And I have to say, I really like this one. Because again, this color that I have from the eye pencil is like a silver dark one. The actual name on the pencil is Night Flash. Ooh, sounds like a superhero. So I told you, I use them down to the nub. This is what they actually look like. And this one that I like to use is called Night Flash, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. So you guys can see that. And then when you blend it, it has this beautiful silver to it. And that's why I love using this one. So that's my personal preference, because again, with my blue eyes, you kind of like get the depth of the darkness, the kind of the charcoal-esque, but then you get a little bit of the silver blue. So let's go in. Now with this one, you just kind of want to, I mean, the application is better with your finger, but I got big old fingernails and I'm not willing to give those up. Let's just load the brush a little bit. Gotta be careful because I do wipe it on the edge. Start at the base, start at the middle. Oh, hello. Hello. Oh, she's so pretty. She's so pretty. Now the trick, pat and press, and then gently, for me anyways, the way I do it is wipe. You can kind of get an all over. And this does break up beautifully when you just give it a little love. Oh, I love her. And just gives it just a little bit of sparkle. I'm a girl who loves sparkle. I will never ever stop loving sparkles. When I am dead in my coffin, I will insist they use some sort of sparkles on my eyelids and on my lips and my cheeks. Ah, hell, I'm just gonna look like a big sparkle. Maybe instead they can cremate my ashes and put a big glitter bomb and just throw it up into the air. Just poof. That'd be amazing. And then I get on all over my guests and they'd have like sparkles of Natasha all over the place. Oh, that is just evil and slightly entertaining and a little bit morbid. Again, just kind of blend it. Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, I just want to do the top part. I'm going to use my Here by Mario here. I'm going to use his palette real quick because I just want to touch this up and just give it that nice softness. So it kind of has a little bit of highlight up in the corner here, just to lift the eyebrows a little bit, lift the eye so it doesn't look as tired as I feel. Right? You know what I'm talking about. All right, and I'm going to put a little bit in the corner. I have some nice blue veins in here, so I try to just brighten it up just a little bit. Okay, how's it looking? I am really happy with this. Now remember my blush, I told you it would go away a little bit because of the way I just do things. So let's tuck that back up. All right, I think now would be a great time to start using the powder because I think this is a good time to do it. Everything else feels good. Now Huda has two of her actual Easy Bake. This one's called Cupcake. This one's called Sugar Cookie. The only downside to these products are they do have a small fragrance, which I'm not a fan of. I have a lot of allergies. Now they don't aggravate my allergies, but Huda, I love you, girl, but you don't need to put scent in there. You know, you have a lot of people who just don't care for the smell. So if you can take it out, that'd be amazing. Now, I will say this was her older packaging because I purchased this. I loved it so much I bought another one because I really like using a white just because I'm so damn pale. But when I got the package, it did come with the Easy Bake Cupcake, which is the next color. And this is actually, I've been wearing it a few times and the color is pretty good, but look at that. Just the way that the actual application is, it's very, very different. So this is definitely a superior packaging to the original, which I sincerely appreciate. The way I like to do my powdering, because I am 50-year-old skin, first things I go in is I go underneath the eye, wherever there might be creasing, or my forehead, and just kind of give it a little last minute tap, just to make sure if there's any extra products that literally it's all sucked up or patted or pressed back in. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little fluffy brush. This one again is from Morphe M451 and it's a nice fluffy one. And I'm going to start with the white, and this one's called Easy Bake Sugar Cookie. And I'm just going to show you. I kind of have to. So what I like to do first is slowly put it underneath the eye area. This is where the wrinkles and crinkles love to hide for me. So if you do a pre-puff application, you will literally set those fine lines and wrinkles. You're literally getting the product right in to the fine lines and the wrinkles, and that's exactly what we want. Go right into the crinkle zone, the crinkle zone. Let's get in there. And if you have your pores are kind of holding on, this is great. Think of it as like shellacking. We want to put the product in it so it flattens it out. It's almost like drywalling. That's where we're at, people. When we get into our 50s, we start drywalling on our face. Okay, now that I've done the original, kind of like I said, the fluffing version of it, I'm going to take my actual powder, and then I'm going to go in with this one, which is the Cupcake. And then I'm going to go in and give it a really good bake. And I put a lot on purpose because I will be actually brushing a lot of this off. But basically what I'm trying to do is giving it a completely even tone, blurs out all my pores and all the wrinkles. So I am literally caking it on. So first thing, I'm going to press it all the way in, and I'm going to give that a few minutes to set. Okay, now that it has set, we're going to take a big fluffy brush and we're going to make sure we literally very lightly buff it out. Buff out any superfluous amount. You want to use a light hand, a quick hand, and literally I'm just trying to buff off any additional or extra powder. All right, this already I think looks fantastic. It gives me that nice flawless look. You can see I still have mobility, but it flattens everything out. Nothing is holding in the crease, which is really important for aging skin. Now I will have to say her setting spray is really good. I do love it a lot. I actually compared it to my all-nighter, which is my absolute ride or die. I've been using this for at least 5 years. I always go back to buy this. I also have the Charlotte Tilbury, which is also very good. And I've also tried the Fenty Beauty You Mist. Love this. Very little to no transfer. Only problem is it leaves a film all over my makeup table, which I'm not a fan of. This doesn't seem to leave a makeup film, at least not as intense. And I don't find that this actually causes a lot of any issues with anything like electronics or anything. Okay, so you gotta shake the poo-poo out of this, shake it up, because there is some powder in here. Now, if you are super dry dehydrated, don't do the baking like I did before, where you put that heavy amount of setting powder over top of it, because it'll be too much. It will actually not look great. But if you just do a light frosting, and then you go ahead with the spray, that's the perfect combination. But today I wanted to be a little bit more dramatic, show you guys what it looks like. So let's take the easy spray. I go under my chin line because I don't want it to come off on my clothing. I make sure I get underneath into my eye so I can get into the crinkle zone of the eyes. The mist is quite lovely, but as you can see, there's definitely some spillage. So Huda, definitely you're gonna need to look at your packaging. I know there's a few people that have commented on it. The packaging seems to either, the spray spritz out a little bit in globs, which definitely it can happen, or you get some leakage, which has happened on me. But again, you know, when you're starting to do a brand new product, there's always going to be like things that you have to finagle with. So love the spray. It holds all day long. My face looks pretty much like perfection after it's all said and done. I'm just gonna let it dry. And while I let it dry, I'll show you the last little bits that I like to do. Now I'm just gonna throw on my eyelashes and I will come right back and I'll show you the final steps that I like to do for my makeup. All right, lashes are back on. Setting spray has set. You have to say, this is pretty darn awesome. To me, it looks absolutely flawless. I will show you the test that you can do with your wipe. So you can see there's absolutely no transfer. For me, it's right here because I like to wear a lot of white, or when you hug people and you leave that residue behind, that's happened to me. I'm gonna wipe. And it doesn't feel sticky, which I really love. So is the setting spray any good? Yes, it's absolutely excellent. There's a little bit of a learning curve to go with it at first. Remember, like I said, if you're really, really, really dry, you want to do a light powder first and then add this because it has a little bit of powder. If you have oilier skin or normal skin, I don't think you'll really notice that terribly much, but that is what I have noticed for myself. I want to finish off my look because I showed you about how my cheeks need a little extra love. So what I like to do, just to kind of make my skin look like it's glowing, this is my trick. I actually use the Glowgasm Beauty Light Wand, and this is the light blush or high blush that I use. As you can see, I've pretty much used the crap out of it, but let's see if I can't get a little bit more. And after I've powdered, I go back in and I just do like a small little set here. I know it's one of the cardinal rules, but I find for my skin, it works really, really, really well. And then I just tap it with my fingertips. And then that way I just blend it into perfection, literally just to add that little extra. And it adds a beautiful little highlight. It's really good for the summer months. And like I said, because my skin is dry, I need that little extra layer of hydration in my skin just so I don't dry down. And this will literally last me all day long. And if you're worried about your corners, you're like, what if I screwed up my corners? You could always grab your beauty blender, tap it back in, and it'll just blend you into perfection. And the last but not least is by Mario. This is my ride or die. It's called Expensive. It is an actual gel highlighter. But the reason why I like it for aging skin is because it gives you that little dew hydration, just a little bit. It's very sticky, okay? If you use too much, it's gonna be a hot freaking mess. But if you're smart, and you just put it in the crinkle zone, it will not only hydrate the crinkle zone, but it'll give you this beautiful glow to your skin. And I love it. I absolutely love it. This is like the 4th or 5th that I've purchased because I will always use it in my crinkle zone. And if I find I'm a little dry up here or I was overzealous with the powder, I will just gently give a little tap. And again, just ever so slightly. Then all you have to do is add a little bit of lip balm. This is the new Fenty. You're gonna love this one, watch. And that is it. So, well done. Excellent product. Actually, all the products I use, I love. But I hope that helped give you a good idea of what my face every day looks. And yeah, I hope you had some fun and learned a few tricks. And if not, maybe giggled a little bit at my really weird jokes. Please write your comments down below. I will see you on the next one.